Welcome to another HACSU vodcast, your Health and Community Services Union. We're going to be looking at a campaign that's currently out at the moment, a petition with it, which is about portable long service leave. Robbie Moore, the State Secretary for our Health and Community Services Union, joins me now. Robbie, portable long service leave, what is it? Who might be entitled to it, and how does it work?
So portable long service leave scheme is a scheme that means you can move from one employer to another, but maintain your accrual of your long service leave. We have this already in Tasmania in the construction industry, and it's a very appropriate mechanism that means in areas where you often have to change employers because of no choice of your own, means that you don't lose that entitlement. And clearly, so a lot of the areas that we cover, such as aged care, such as disability services, community services, contracts can go from one provider to the other very easily, and you would lose all of your entitlement if we don't have this scheme. So that's why it's so important that we do have a scheme that is fair. It's similar to what you have in the public sector as well. The public sector, you can move from one job to another, but your long service leave goes with you. We need the same in our private sector areas, so it's fair and equitable, and so that we can encourage people to come and work in these vital industries.
So that's currently what's happening at the moment, in that if you move to a different employer, you don't get your long service leave.
That's right. You lose all of your entitlement. It is just based on who your employer is, which is, totally unfair. And we see it in disability services where, one place, let's say Anglicare, is providing care to a number of people with disability. They choose to change to another provider, let's say Possibility, and then you lose all your entitlement by you just continuing to do the same job. It's totally unfair. It's unreasonable. It's actually a really positive thing that most employers will recognise, that after a certain amount of time an employee can change employers. It can bring new knowledge to that industry, give the worker some new experiences, and it can be a really positive scheme. It's worked in the construction industry since the 1970s, and you can change from employers because that happens with the jobs you're working on. So why would we not have the same scheme for these sort of important areas? And we're joining with our colleagues at the United Workers Union to see that contract cleaning get it as well, because they have similar problems, as do the security industry. So they're obviously the union that cover them, and the ASU that has joint coverage with us in community services is on board. So it's a joint union campaign for industries that have a high degree of turnover between which organisation you work for, but we'll see you have an entitlement accrue the whole time and keep those workers in those sectors.
Well, yeah, because there's a couple of things that's wrong with how it's being done. Obviously, one is a worker shouldn't feel that they have to stay in a job that they're not happy with just so they keep their long service leave. It's almost like you could be caged in. But also there's a 40%, of insecure work within those industries. So quite often you will have to move by no choice of your own.
Yeah, look, all of the industries that we have identified that should be covered, community services, disability, aged care, contract cleaning and security, they are all vulnerable workforces. They have high levels of casualisation. They have a lot of insecure work. So this sort of scheme is just about fairness and equity, that they should be able to get the same entitlement that other workers can. And this is a scheme that's already operating for those industries in the ACT, and Victoria has got a similar model that's being implemented at the moment. New South Wales is looking at it very much on board as well. So it's going to happen, and it's just not fair that Tasmanian workers miss out yet again.
What can people do to get behind this? It's such an important initiative.
Well, we've launched a petition that you can support, that's on our Facebook page. So that would be the first thing. That's calling on all parliamentarians to come out and support this scheme. We got commitments from the majority of MPs in the lower house before this state election. So that's the Labor Party, the Greens, the Jackie Lambie Party, Independents David O'Byrne and Christy Johnson. So that's 20 out of the 35. So that, in theory, as long as they keep their commitment, we should be able to get it through the lower house. But we then have to get it through the upper house, the Legislative Council as well. But we're really hopeful that those people would too support this scheme, because Tasmanians shouldn't be missing out on this, and these are vital industries where we really need to attract workers.
I'd like to know what excuse they could have to not support it.
Yeah, look, there isn't one. This is one that we're part of the other thing that we're doing with the petition that we're asking the community and workers are signing is we're actually asking employers to come on board and support that. And we've already got some on board, and that's employers that are pledging to support it because they see the way that it would attract people to attract workers and retain workers into the sector like disability services or aged care. So we're really hopeful that there'll be a groundswell of community support, and that will mean that those politicians that have pledged to support it will, but hopefully more will come on board so that it's got overwhelming support for what is a much needed and a vital scheme for workers.
Robbie Moore, the State Secretary for our Health and Community Services Union, thanks so much for the update.
Thanks, Esther.